In my hand right now, I'm holding what Niko blew me at the beginning of this, before I said blew me. This is kind of crazy.
No, beta, doctor, lawyer, education. But from acting in an abundance mindset, I was like, how can I give this to people that are just like myself?
If you had to give them some things to look out for, what would you recommend the audience look out for?
Oh, absolutely. Everything's your fault as a business owner. I think I was very ignorant in doing that, just blindly trusting somebody to handle stuff. Money freedom, because I got bills to pay, I got kids.
Okay.
Get around the right people that will push you to be your best self.
It comes up to you guys to decide. Faith, fitness, family, finances, and friends. Not your penis isn't gonna fucking work.
Don't delegate and sit on your ass, right? Delegate and figure out what are the higher dollar per hour things that you can be working on as a CEO.
Yo guys, what's going on? I'm here with Niko Sharma, the one and only top brokerage owner. He also have top buyers, guys. We're gonna get into a detail about a lot of shit that he do, what he have accomplished. He's been a good friend of mine for like 2 years now. A buddy of ours, Sean Cerrone, had introduced us at one of his Puerto Rican trips. We had a blast out there. Me and Niko just fucking clicked, man. And once we clicked, it was over with. We made a lot of good connections. In my hand right now, I'm holding what Niko blew me at the beginning of this, before I said blew me. This is kind of crazy. But at the beginning of this podcast, I'm holding it in my hand. He blew me a kiss. So I'm watching you guys see me put it on my lips live. All right, let's go. Let's get started. Niko, tell them a little bit about your background. Let's get it.
Is that what we doing?
That's what we doing, G. That's what we doing, G.
So, real estate broker, founder of Top Brokerage. We're in 8 states. I've done over, in the last 12 months, between the investment firm and the brokerage, 600 transactions. Sit on the board of Chandler's company, Level Up.
Yep.
Michael was talking about it. And we're working with students on that side. Got this thing called the Partner Program. And just a lot of vertically integrated things. Sean talks about vertical integration. So, and doing it with people just like yourself, people I fuck with, people we don't know if we working or not, but we making money still, right?
Yes, sir.
So
I love that. Mr. Niko, guys, like I said, this is a smart guy. And he's smart as far as in the fact as like he's smart overall, right? He knows his stuff, especially when it comes down to novations. Whenever somebody asks me a question about novations, first person I say, they say, who do you recommend? And I don't recommend these other gurus. I say, hey, go chat with Niko. Message him on IG. The guy's so famous. They say, hey, what's his number? I say, message him on IG and get his number yourself, right? Just because he be doing his thing. But so, Niko, explain to the people that are watching this that don't know what a novation is or MLS strategy or the difference between the two, if you want to go into that.
Yeah, so a novation simply just means replacement, right? So
Replacement?
Replacement. You're replacing an agreement. So it's just an exit strategy, like an assignment would be. It's also an exit strategy like a double close would be. A novation, right? The MLS strategy is the expectations you set on the front end to be able to put yourself in a position to novate the property potentially, right?
Okay.
And so expectations of access, timeline, and your pre-marketing clause are really going to be the 3 biggest ones that you want to touch on. That way, you set the right expectations on the front end, the back end of the conversation goes so much smoother, the transaction. And like I said, we've done and witnessed and been a part of 600 transactions through Top Brokerage and Top Buyers just in the last 12 months. So I've seen them go good and I've seen them go bad. And I see, what the differentiators are in each of those.
And which are those 3?
The access, timeline, and expectations.
Expectations. Okay. How do you properly set the right expectations?
Yeah. So with access, right, you're going to let them know, we got investor partners, contractors, local real estate, and agent associates, retail associates accompanied by retail agents, which is just a fancy way of saying buyers and buyers agents that'll be coming out for access. We're going to give you 24 to 48 hours notice or you set some preset times. So that's the access pillar, right? Timeline, these transactions sub 500K, you want to give yourself the ability to close on or before 60 days. Above 500K, you want to give yourself between 500 and a million, I'd say 90 to 120 days. And then above $1 million, ideally, right, unless you get it at a stupid cheap price, 120 to 150, maybe even 180, right? Because your buyer pool is going to shrink as you go in price points. Which
I didn't know that.
Yeah, time's going to be your best friend at that point.
Okay, got you. And the last one, the pre-marketing.
Yeah, the marketing.
Expectations with that.
The marketing is one of the big things with novations is you never just want to tell people, I'm going to sell your property to somebody else. Because if you don't have a license, you're brokering real estate without a license, and that's illegal, right? You want to approach it from the standpoint of you are potentially buying this, but you have multiple ways to cut the cake to get them to their number within the days agreed to on contract and at the price that you agreed to with them, right?
Okay.
Because you're not acting as a real estate agent. We can go in and make repairs, right? We can go in and do certain things that are more creative than what a traditional real estate agent making a commission would be wanting to do or willing to do. And so there's the as-is condition for the seller. I always like to tell sellers, you get the benefits of working with an investor through the Novation, but you're able to do so closer to a retail price.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
So, man, the biggest thing right now that I see when I talk to a lot of real estate investors, and I say, hey, have you done novations? And they think you have to put your own money in.
Mm-mm.
What is that, and why there's a big, like, common misconception between?
Because of how it's being taught, right? You know, you can do as-is novations,
Okay.
where you get it under contract, you have your POA, your AIF, and your purchase and sale. And then
All right, talk to them now. I know you know the acronyms.
Yeah, purchase and sale agreement, AIF, which is attorney in fact / LPOA.
Okay.
Limited power of attorney. And then you ultimately take that, depending on the MLS requirements, it really comes down from what we've seen across the 8 states that we're in to 3 things, right? Either the MLS is okay with equitable interest listings and you can sign on behalf of your investment firm.
Okay.
They're not, and you need to sign as the AIF authority that you have from the owner or owners of record. Or they're not, and you have to get that notarized, that AIF. And so that...
Let's break down which states or which. Like which
that's going to be a super long conversation.
Is it really long? Okay.
Yeah, go to topbrokerage.com, go to the FAQ section. We have everything detailed out for you guys on there.
Okay, thank you, guys. Go to there. We'll drop the link in the bio, in the description for you guys. Okay, so now, so let's talking about novations. I have a lot of people that ask me a lot of questions about novations, so just go to that website. His FAQs, he's going to explain a lot of it. Also, I'm going to drop his Instagram inside of the description as well, so guys, give him a follow, reach out to him personally, ask him a question. Let's talk about Top Brokerage. Right? Top Brokerage. He came to me, he got this idea, and he's like, dude, you know what I'm going to do? I'm tired of all these flat fees. I'm sick and tired of them. They don't do a good job. They fucking suck at listing. It gets on my nerve. I'm not going to say any names. And I hear a lot of complaints the same. He's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create a subscription model for investors who are actually serious about scaling their business with some MLS strategies and novations. So let's dive into that. What sparked the ideal when you started this company, Top Brokerage, and let's walk that out.
I'll give you some backstory. I'm 17, 18, sitting at the high school lunch table, telling my friends I want to get into real estate. Mm-hmm. Everybody laughs, says you're not going to be able to do it.
Okay.
That's too far-fetched.
Yep.
So just like our conversation in Puerto Rico, I'm like, all right, bet, watch me. Watch me, right?
I love it.
And so, ultimately, and it ended up with me getting my license freshman year of college. I dropped out, didn't make the most of that opportunity from a time management standpoint. Got the Indian grandparents, and I was raised by a single mom, so mom too. No, beta, doctor, lawyer, education. And I was like, I went back for a semester, then I was like, respectfully, fuck this shit.
Okay.
Dropped out again with the focus of being an investor, using my license as a tool in my tool belt. My business partner, mother of my children, Shay, met her around that time as well, too.
In college?
Right after I dropped out for the second time.
The second time, okay.
Yeah, and with that focus of being an investor first and foremost. And took us 9 months to close our first deal. That year we did a couple 6 figures. The next year we did more 6 figures. The year after that, we hit our first 7-figure year in the investment firm. And I had my license all through this time as well, too. And so on my end, like, to your point, I'm dealing with these companies, and it's like, and I can create something better. And so Top Brokerage, the subscription model, just to kind of accelerate a little bit, was built out of a need for my own investment firm. But from acting in an abundance mindset, I was like, how can I give this to people that are just like myself, where you don't deal with the shittiness of the traditional flat fee company, and you don't get hit with the arm and the leg that comes with listing with a traditional agent, right? Because I was underwriting my novations different than everybody else in the market because I had that in-house, which allowed me to be more profitable and analyze deals differently as well, too.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. And that's how you started Top Brokerage.
Yeah.
I like that. And Niko, I really like you because you're an honest guy and you don't mind telling the truth, right?
Absolutely.
You're a very good truth teller. And you don't mind being vulnerable. Not me. I'm different. But that makes you a better man than me. Do you want to get into, or I probably should have prefaced this before, that phase you were in when I first met you in Puerto Rico? And we don't have to get into the specifics of it. What we can do, we can get into what led you up to that so these investors don't make the same mistakes.
Oh, my test is my testimony. I'm going to claim that shit. I wanted to kill myself this time last year, straight up. And I'm the happiest, most like loving, like will roast the shit out of you, loving dude. And I was acting like a fucking sad boy, right?
Yeah, literally.
And what led to that was ultimately some of the things that Sean had talked about on his podcast when you guys talked. Same things, not knowing my numbers, marketing spend, those minute costs. I had a 50Ks in salary, watching half a M just dwindle down in my operating account, and too scared to pull the plug or make changes because it's like, I didn't know what were
What you had to pull the plug on.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And then I'm very, very blessed, linked up with Chandler and Chandler and Braden, me, Braden, and Chandler are partnered now on the investment firm side, in addition to me sitting on the board of Level Up, because the things that he teaches in there, the CPL, CPAs, CPCs, most importantly, your CPD and your ROADs, right?
Yep.
These are all dialed in. I'm not the CRM guy. I am the sales guy. And being able to have guys like that around me made a huge difference to understanding the gaps I was deficient in. And where I'm at now as an entrepreneur is ultimately focusing and doubling down on what I'm best at. And it's who, not how, for the things that I'm weak at. Like I don't look my best right now from a fitness standpoint, right?
Yeah.
I can't delegate that. But in business, the things that you're not good at, you can delegate and double down on what you're best at and build a team. I grew up playing football and basketball.
Yep.
I fucking love team sports. Camaraderie, the culture.
Yes.
I mean, shit, even us on our trip, we're on each other, pushing each other to be our best selves, and also clowning each other, laughing together, going through it together. I really like that aspect of business as a team sport.
Okay, I love that. So let's unpack all of that. So I know you got with Chandler over there at Level Up. He's a great guy, 100%.
Shout out to Chandler.
Shout out to Chandler, guys. And he's really big on like metrics. And I think metrics, if you don't have metrics, you can't scale. That's for any company. You got to have your numbers dialed in. Like we know our LTV, we know our CAC, we know like when a client's going to leave, what we could do when a client leaves. We're super dialed in with all our numbers. And I think that allowed me to actually make more profit, right? And actually keep it for longer, make more revenue, just because I dialed in those numbers. And when you went through that phase to the point that you're spending like $50K a month and you didn't know where to pull the plug at, if you had to give them some things to look out for, what would you recommend the audience look out for?
Man, listen, I'm my setup now, I'm trying to put as much as I can towards marketing, have a straight commission, ops on the sales and the AC side, maybe
no overhead.
Yeah, a salaried LM, maybe a marketing and an EA and a dispo assistant.
Okay.
But my AC and my dispo team, I might give them a draw for the first 90 days from that stability standpoint.
Okay.
But then I want you to go straight commission because I want to allocate all the fucking money I can to marketing. And I'd rather allocate it to marketing that I know I'm tracking numbers on, getting a ROAS, and getting less take home than paying people salary. Because you win with me in that like if I lose, I still lose by myself. But when we win together.
You win way more in the long run. So it's like, hey, instead of paying this AC guy $2,500 plus commission, you'd rather pay him way more commission, and that $2,500 taking an ad spend. Now you have, let's say, 4 AC guys. That's $10,000 you could put into marketing every month.
Exactly right, and that's where I for just our compensation structure that I figured works really well from still maintaining like a 45% margin after marketing and commissions paid out in the overhead is going to be, we really don't have lead managers. I want to get everybody to a closer, but while they're training to be a closer, they are an LM. Okay. And that's a 5% appointment setter role. When you're a closer, it's 15% and dispo makes 10%. That's 30% off the top right there.
Okay. So what is you guys' average side over there, top buyers? Average assignment fee?
Average assignment fee right now is around $17,000. It's lower than I want it to be.
So let's put it at 20, just for sake of the numbers. So we're looking at $6,000 you pay out on the deal?
Yeah, around that.
Okay, $6,000. Okay, what's the furthest you ever scaled it up to? How much in rev?
In terms of, we did 1.2 that year right before everything crashed the next year. Yeah. So right around 100K a month is where we're at. There's outliers. Wholesaling goes like this. Like 1 month.
Probably a 200K a month and a $0.
Yeah, $250,000 in 1 month, zero one other month, right?
And literally.
In those 0 months, I'm still bleeding money on the salaries too. And that's what I had realized at the time that I hadn't pulled the plug on fast enough.
Okay, so do you think it has anything to do with hires, making the wrong hires?
Oh, absolutely. Everything's your fault as a business owner.
Yeah.
If you don't, take that accountability, you won't be able to change shit. And that's one of the biggest things that, taking that ownership of, everything's my fault allows you to have the control of your life. Because if not, your life is going to be at the mercy of something else or something outside of yourself.
I like that. I know we hopping around a little bit, but why should someone use top brokerage over using another, just a flat fee listing agent?
It's like Amazon FBA for real estate inventory, right? You pay a flat monthly rate. We have plans starting as low at $99 a month, and they go all the way up to $3,500 a month. Some of the biggest people in this industry are on the $3,500 a month plan. And it starts at, on the 99.7, 197.5, 497.25, and 3,500 is 0% commission to us. And you get access to unlimited listings in any of the states we're in.
And you did something unique, the live call transfers.
Yeah, the live call transfers for our VIP clients that are routed directly to your dispo team.
Yep.
Some of these agents don't give a fuck about your deals. Not as much as you as the principal are going to care about getting this thing to the closing table.
Yep.
They're going to get commission breath. So if you have that access with your internal team and your dispo rep, or you as the owner, and you're the one that's like, okay, cool, I'm seeing how this is going to make sense for me to make profit on it, as opposed to an agent that's like, I have commission breath. If I'm not getting paid my commission, this offer is not going to make sense. Puts you in a whole different position of being able to negotiate and get things done.
Okay, so you said agents get, like, if the deal's too small, you think they're not going to want to sell it as much?
That and, I mean, look, if certain things need to be negotiated, the last thing an agent is going to do is sacrifice their commission. 95, if not 99% of the time. And I understand it. It's a business, right?
Yeah, they got to eat too.
But how much better would it be if, we talked about Amazon FBA, if you can go pay a monthly subscription amount and post your inventory across any of the states we're in and not have to come out of pocket. It takes a variable out-of-pocket expense, or you get hit with an arm and a leg on the back end.
Yeah.
Turns it into a fixed overhead with a minute percentage coming off the top from, when you generate revenue.
Okay. What states are you in? Because I know you're not in all 50.
Yeah, North Carolina, Texas, Alabama, Florida, Virginia, South Carolina, Louisiana, and Alabama. So that's where we're at right now. And one of the cool things is, we can expand relatively easy. Around this time last year, I had almost over-leveraged myself, which is part of the reason I was in that sad boy phase.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing I'm being very, very careful about now, is expanding at the right pace. We need to have demand in a certain market.
You can scale too fast, guys.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, well, and one of the brokers that I employ is licensed in 45 states. So if I wanted to open up a market, I could do it within 2 weeks. But you have the incorporation fees, the MLS fees, the certain costs that are there that, across 1 or 2 states is fine. But if you try to go nationwide ASAP and you don't necessarily have the funnels like you need to have, which me and you were working on, you can over-leverage yourself fast as fuck.
Really? Okay. Man, dude. And so let's say this, you have done and been a part of over 600 transactions in the last 12 months. Kudos. Great. This is a selfish question for me and for the audience. Where have you been seeing the most movement at? Which states?
Most states, Texas is solid.
Is it?
Georgia, North Carolina.
Solid. So Texas being number one?
I would put, because of the 3 major metros over there and just how big it is, I'd put Texas as the number 1 volume for us.
Which
1A and 1B
Houston?
in Texas and Georgia. More so Dallas, Fort Worth.
Dallas?
The DFW market, yeah. And then Georgia too, because, we're in all these states now, but my roots are in Georgia. So a lot of my, grassroots connections, shaking hands, like, that's how we got Sean as a client. He's been a client of ours for 2 years now.
Okay.
I met him at a meetup, and, I actually found out he was going through some things at that same time I met him for the first time. So to see just, how everything's connected is cool.
Yeah, we met through him. Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
I just like he mentioned, you're a brother to me. You're dope.
I caught that kiss at the beginning of this. Yeah.
You got to edit that out. Actually,
No.
keep that shit in.
Yes, please keep that in.
We'll let it ride.
Please keep that in. Okay, so you're saying as of right now, neck and neck, we're looking at Texas and Georgia, like far as in bigger spreads?
Most volume that we're facilitating on the top brokerage side. And I'd lean more towards Georgia for bigger spreads than Texas, just because of the price point of some of these houses.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Georgia, Atlanta, the metro Atlanta area was one of the, if not the number one, I don't have the stats in front of me, but most investment firm, hedge fund buyers were buying in those markets.
Oh, okay. In Georgia, because it's a popular area.
Demographic, popular area. People that don't want to deal with the subsidized insurance stuff in Florida are moving up. People from the north are moving down. And so it's definitely a super, super hot market. Your average median home price is around, I want to say, $380K in that market last time I checked.
What is it in Texas?
Texas is closer to 320. That's one thing that's important too, right? It's hard to hit 30K, 40K, 50K assignments. Your average price point is 120K in a market.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
And if we was to pull back the curtains on everything, right? Far as in you going through that phase where you were over leveraged, you were spending too much, you were just watching the money, you couldn't pull the you couldn't pull the cord fast enough. What would you change different? Well, because you actually started back up. So what did you change different, Lee, and like give these guys some, because I feel like a lot of real estate investors that will be watching this, they're either starting out. I don't want them to make those mistakes, or they probably listening to them like, dude, I was over leveraged too.
Yeah, the biggest thing is like, don't blindly delegate. I think I was very ignorant in doing that, just blindly trusting somebody to handle stuff. You need to have controls and feedback measures in place and feedback loops to make sure certain things are getting done. You definitely want to, another aspect of that is knowing your fucking numbers, right? I would have pulled the plug on the data we had in the texting channel we were using a lot earlier. And then you as a leader just have to be better. So much of that was just on me as a leader, not leading like I needed to. And then understanding what A talent looks like, right? You might think somebody's A talent, but they might not be, right? And so how do you have the metrics behind that?
How do you have the metrics behind it? Give them a tip.
So biggest thing for me is like, are they going to take the lead on something, right? I want to see somebody come in. I'm going to give you the system, processes, and structure, but are you giving me feedback on how we can improve stuff? Are you taking ownership of stuff, right? Because where I'm at now in the investment firm and the brokerage, I want to be the person that puts together the Avengers and lets them go save the fucking world, right? I don't necessarily have to be the Hulk or the Superman. I want to put them together. I want to be Samuel L. Jackson just posted. Put them together, let them run loose. And then, ultimately that's because so many people are like, hustling, even the coaching stuff, right? They're hustling. And, you're not a business owner. You might own an LLC, but you're a highly paid self-employed person.
Yeah.
The business owner has money freedom and time freedom. The successful business owner.
If you would rather have one, which one would you choose?
Money freedom, because I got bills to pay. I got kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
So time freedom isn't that important?
It is important to me because I want to be able to spend that time with my kids, but they got to be fed first and foremost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, guys, there you have it with Mr. Niko. Niko, what else you want to share with him?
Man, I just excited to see everything. We got some collaborations coming up, some people off camera as well too. So, guys, get around the right people. They will push you to be your best self, and you are truly the reflection of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And I'm lucky to call this guy a brother as well too.
Guys, literally, he's saying that because we had some we have really good conversations, and I think that he said that because it was one interesting conversation we had. I'm not going to get into the details about the conversation, but you need to be around people that can have those uncomfortable conversations with you. And quite frankly, you know what I mean? As I was saying on one of my earlier podcasts, you need somebody to call like, hey, what would I do in this situation? And me and Niko do the same thing a lot. Like, hey, man, what would you do here? What do you think about this? What if I did this? Would it make sense? And we walk through it. Hey, if this happened, and we'll be talking for like 2 hours on the phone. So time freedom is important. Because if I was a high paid, employee, I probably wouldn't be able to spend 2 hours masterminding on how actually to grow the business or giving tips on how a friend of mine can actually grow his business because I'm so stuck in my business. So to kind of come back to your point, so I guess time freedom and money freedom. Because if I didn't make the money, I wouldn't definitely have the fucking time.
Well, and one of the things that's important to, just back to not going too detailed into our conversation, but all the people that you bring on your show are relatively successful, but the biggest thing is like, how can we get better, right? Like, to the general population, we're like, oh my gosh, look, they made it. Nah, we haven't even got shit started yet, right? Yeah. And then outside of just business too, the excellence aspect of faith, fitness, family, friends, and then finance, right?
Yep.
And like those 5 things I want to be, and I will be, I'm excellent in some of them, but not others as of right now. But all 5 is the ultimate, living your best life.
That's the hierarchy of a man.
Exactly.
And you can get all 5 of those dialed in.
Exactly.
So it comes up to you guys to decide faith, fitness, family, finances, and friends. It's up to you guys to decide, like, hey, I'm good in 2, I'm not good in 3. So how can I develop these 3 and start working towards that?
And the craziest thing, guys, like the law of the lid is real. Your organizations are only going to grow to the level of your personal development as a leader.
Yep.
And so some of the conversations me and Courtney have had, he's like, hey, this is good, but like imagine if you were this, and this aspect, how much better it could be. Imagine how much of an ignorance tax you're paying by not being this, and this in these areas. And that's what's really dope. You have people around you that acknowledge that you're doing well, but call you out on the things that are holding you back from doing even better.
Yeah. And I like that. And I think in every friend group, you got to have a friend that couldn't say, hey, this could go bad or this could go either good. Because I was chatting with JT, another buddy of ours.
Yeah.
He's a weird guy, but
listen, it's cool. I feel like I've known him 10 years, and I met
yeah, dude. You don't met this guy,
I'm just talk a lot of shit to him, but that's my boy.
Yeah, but JT, he was like, man, Courtney, you can call you're very confrontational. Yeah. Like, you're very confrontational. And I was like, yeah, dude, I think I am. He said he's more of an influencer. Like, okay, I will rather influence you to seeing like, hey, I want you to think that you made this decision, but I kind of planted a seed in your head. But me, I come to you and say, hey, this is the decision you need to make because this is what it's costing you.
When you did something smart too, remember just to bring it back, right? My high school lunch table when I was getting my license.
Yeah.
And everybody said I couldn't do shit.
Yeah.
And told me I couldn't do it. Watch.
Just imagine your friend telling you that, guys, that you're cool with, and telling you, you keep going down this path, you won't do it.
Yeah.
Somebody you trust, somebody you say, okay, dude, I trust this guy. I call this guy for advice. He calls me for advice. We're on the same level. If he tell me that, I'm really doing something fucking wrong or something that's not right. What does it mean? And that's why it's really important to have the right people. Like having the law lit, like you said, is real. Having them 5 people around you. That's really important because it's like if they tell you you can't do it. So let's say I was playing a video game all day and I told you some shit like that. It wouldn't even hit. Like, dude, you playing a video game, you smoking weed and you're drinking Mountain Dews and you're eating a bunch of pizzas and I'm out of shape. And then I go and tell you some shit and then you be like, okay, you change your whole life around and you stop doing it because I tell you you're not going to be shit because you're hanging around the wrong people. But it's like, okay, this guy, he's at least trying to be a better version of himself. I see it and he want me to also be a better version of himself as well.
And it's cool too because I know it's coming from love. We talked about where I was at mentally last year. My test is my testimony.
Yep.
Like being able to lean into the relationships with you and Sean and Chandler and Braden. Like that is what helped turn it around for me. Mm-hmm. Those relationships, I'll throw Simon in there as well too. Ivan's a part of that as well too. Like those 5-6 relationships were super pivotal for me getting out of my head and getting back to who I was prior to.
Getting out your head, getting in your bread.
Yeah.
I love that. I need that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because dude, sometimes I think entrepreneurship is like fucking the hardest thing you can do. I think trust me, guys, I just spent 5 days in fucking Puerto Rico. And this just confirmed my belief because everybody around us has some level of entrepreneurship and had the spirit. For one, you took off 5 days, slapped that in the middle of the week, you're probably making some decent money just because you can, right? So we did that. And I tell everybody, entrepreneurs are fucking batshit crazy. I think it is the craziest shit ever. We were sitting in the car, I said, we're all one word, and it was the N word. Not the N word you guys are thinking, but I'm not going to say it here. And I was like, dude, we have to be just because we're all delusional. You know what I mean? Because it's like literally the shots line up for you. I just celebrated my buddy, I think it was last year sometime. I spent so much time with him, I don't know. But Niko, you were there. I celebrated Sean's 5-year in business. And then I was sitting down looking at it. I'm like, dude, 90% of fucking businesses fail before year 5, and you just have 5 years. And I was like, dude, the odds are stacked so far against an entrepreneur before they even start. And you got to be the most, if I tell you, hey, Niko, come here. If you came to this place, there was a 90% chance you're going to die. Would you would have came here? Or go skydiving. Like, hey, dude, like just imagine skydiving. And they say, hey, there's a 90% chance that you're going to die if you went skydiving.
I'm probably not going.
Yeah, but if I'm telling you as an entrepreneur, hey, dude, that's a 90% chance that you're going to fucking fail. And all of us are stupid and said, okay, try me. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, I say I like to chase death, but I like to chase death. Like before I got into the bull ride, I looked up how many people actually die bull ride.
Yeah.
And it was like since 2011, 8 or 10 or something like that. I was like, okay, I'm okay with that because how many people have ridden bulls? And I'm like, man, and I'm sitting back with you guys fucking the craziest. I'm like, yep, this is the craziest people I fucking know. Been around fucking 8 entrepreneurs at one time in the same house. And you'll realize like, man, this is probably this is where the winners are at.
Dude, look at, I'll use Sean as an example. Like, dude makes us feel like we're not doing enough. And he's what, 4 or 5 years younger than us?
Yes.
And it's cool because it's like hearing how fast he failed forward, talking to his attorney about Chapter 19 bankruptcy at 19 years old.
Yeah.
That shit just spiraled him up to where he's at too, or springed him up to where he's at.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't afraid to fail forward. Because you talk about the 90-10, but if that's the first attempt, imagine you compound that. It's like playing 10 hands of blackjack. You're gonna win at some point.
Yeah, dude. So it's a 90-10 in 5 years. Then 5 years after that, you're looking at the 10 that stayed. 90% of them go out of business.
Yep.
So the odds are like fucking 2%. Over 10 years is a 2% chance of you're winning. Mm-hmm. So now let's go back to that same analogy. Would you go skydiving? For everybody that's fucking stupid to say, hey, I would go skydiving. There was a 90% chance I would die. Would you go if there was a 98% chance that you were actually gonna die? No, you fucking wouldn't. You know what I mean? But that's entrepreneurship. So everybody always trying to sell people to get into wholesaling, selling people to get into business, starting marketing agencies and all that stuff. I say, dude, literally, you're gonna fail. You like I was on a podcast with this one gentleman, great guy, UBD, UBD, that's his name, and He's like, hey, man, yeah, motivate these people to get into entrepreneurship. I genuinely think entrepreneurship is going to, like, just fix the world. Whatever problem we have, entrepreneurship will fix it. There's a problem with water, entrepreneurs are going to figure out how to fucking be able to capitalize on it, make money from fixing their problems. That's all capitalism is. You got a problem, I can solve it for you, you pay me this amount of money. That's why I love it so much, right? And he was like, hey, man, motivate these people to start a business. What would you say to them? And I literally looked at the camera and said, don't fucking do it. You're going to be miserable. You're going to lose friends. You're going to lose family. You're going to lose fucking hair. You're going to fucking, your penis isn't going to fucking work sometimes because you're going to be so stressed out. You're going to have so much anxiety. You're not going to be able to sleep. Like literally, like you're going to be going bald. You're going to be stressed out all the fucking time because you got a lot of weight on your shoulder. And then he's like, dude, you're supposed to be motivating them. I said, some crazy motherfucker out there that motivated the fuck out of him. And that's the guy that's actually gonna solve some of the fucking world problems.
Well, and it's crazy too. Like, you know, I saw something. It's like, yo, you want to really show your faith in God? Become an entrepreneur.
Yeah, literally, literally, dude. Because you're gonna keep fucking running against the wall. Like
it's like jumping off of a cliff and building the parachute on the way down.
Exactly. And if you have some right coaches and stuff, they can help you. They can give you some of the stuff, but you still got to do the work. They can give you the parachute, but you still got to put it in the book bag. And if you guys ever seen, like, I went skydiving.
Yeah.
How they have to roll up the parachute and shit. I'm like, they'd have rolled it up the wrong way. It probably wouldn't have deployed correctly. Yeah. I'm never doing that again. You know what I mean? So it's like entrepreneurship, and this may sound contradicting to you, but or crazy to you. I would do it again if I started over, but I first started sales.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's one of the things, like, you know, I feel like I'm the best fucking closer. I know we all feel like that. and that's just the mentality.
That nobody better than me, but yeah.
Yeah. But no, I just, you know, learning skill sets is one of the most important things, right? Like, you know, I'm very, very blessed to have you as a brother and a business partner too, where I'm learning so much about marketing from you, right? And so just leaning into those relationships where, you know, work don't feel like work. We're getting a lot of shit done. We've created VSLs, funnels, you know, crazy good ads and creatives that are going on, but it's been fun, right?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that's, you know, super important. And when you guys, I talked about delegating, don't delegate and sit on your ass, right? Delegate and figure out what are the higher dollar per hour things that you can be working on as a CEO. Because at the end of the day, you take that accountability chart, flip that shit upside down, and that's how this shit works for real. You got to be that servant leader. You don't walk around with your ego out, you know, oh, I'll fire everybody, I'm the boss, right? You be that servant leader because ultimately you want to empower people to take ownership of things. That way it goes from your vision to a shared vision. That's how you build a business.
I love that. Speaking on that, he's so right, because I used to be that guy. You give a young guy some money, I think you get an ego fucking fast.
You go through it. I went through it too.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I didn't fire people just for talking to me weird, just for looking at me weird. Yeah. Like, I don't mind canning nobody for nothing. Right, but the moment I realized that I need my team, and it was because I had so many BC players, so I was that way. Yeah. But the moment I realized I had some A players, it was like, okay, it's time for me to actually change. You know, and then once I changed, then the team actually fucking grew. Yeah. So as I was saying in the lab podcast, I'm in like fucking, I tell everybody all the time, I'm single, but I'm in fucking 15 relationships.
Yeah,
dude, and it's like 15 relationships, 15 personalities, 15. Fucking dealing with 15 other, like, it's just fucking super stressful because I have 15 employees. Yeah. So looking at their dogs, you know, if their dogs are sick, fuck, okay. Their mom are sick, now they got to take a day off work and they got to step in their shoes. And all of that stuff, it's the root of entrepreneurship. I know I talk about it like I'm not like a very motivational guy. I'm just very disciplined when it comes down to it. I don't get up and say I'm motivated to go to the gym. I get up and say, hey, dude, I got to go to the fucking gym. I don't get up and say, hey, I'm motivated to be on time for my team meeting. It's just like I have to go and do this because it's part of my life now. And I think a lot of guys do it wrong because I guarantee you motivation will wear out when you can't get hard anymore. I guarantee you it'll run out when you can't sit down and watch a movie because you're thinking about how you're going to make payroll. You can't sit down and chill because you're like, dude, you're broke. Like, just imagine an entrepreneur. If you guys are watching this and you ever been fucking broke as an entrepreneur, try to sit still. What? You can't. You got to do something. Like, dude, I know how to make money, but I don't got no money, so I feel like I'm useless.
And one thing that's important too, to your point about discipline, right? You know, it's not a choice. You don't negotiate with yourself. You have non-negotiables of what you have to get done.
Yep.
And then there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? And that's, you know, that's something we all, as humans, it's always going to be me versus me, right? That's where the first battle starts first and foremost. And if you conquer self, the world is in your palm.
That's it. Like earlier, man, I was just telling the JT guys I was telling you guys about, like, man, he said he looking for a piece of mind, and I told him I'm looking for a piece of the world.
Yeah.
And the only way you can get that is by conquering yourself. But some people don't focus on conquering themselves. I just don't know. But that's for some people, not for me.
Yeah.
All right, last question I want to ask Mr. Niko is, if someone is on the fence about Alpha Media, what would you say to them?
Oh, sign the fuck up. We're using Courtney leads. We're getting crazy CPLs, crazy ROAS. The lead quality is fucking nuts. You know, I'm somebody that was texting and cold calling, right? So being able to go from texting and cold calling to hot off the press inbound leads from Alpha Media was a huge game changer for our team in terms of our pipeline health and everything we got just on the board even now. So I just highly recommend it. We send all of our level up students over to Courtney as our Facebook preferred ad provider because he knows his shit and truly cares about his clients.
All right. Thank you guys so much. You guys heard it here first. We got Niko on the podcast. Guys, like I said, I'm going to leave his contact information in the description.
You going to blow me one on the way out?
Yeah.
No diddy. We got to end on that note.
Okay.
That, right?
All right, guys, I got to return it back to him. Here you go.
Put it in here.
Okay. Okay, guys. So that's it, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel, guys. Stay tuned. We may be dropping some more pretty soon. Peace.